Hooray! Yay, everyone. I love you. Thank you for joining. This is Hope Johnson with Wisdom Dialogues.
Hooray! Yay,
wait, I hear myself.
Joining. This is Hope Johnson.
All right, I paused myself on Facebook so I don't hear myself anymore. Anyways, coming from the beautiful big island of Hawaii, Hawaiian Paradise Park, where it's nice and rainy today. Yay, everyone. So I got to speak at the Freedom Rally this past weekend, and that was really awesome. It was really fun. I think that's the largest crowd I ever spoke to. It was a pretty good crowd there. I don't know how many, but the newspaper reported there were 250 people in attendance there in Hilo. That's fun. And yeah, basically I just got up there. I had the title of my speech. It was, what was it? Victory over Tyranny, Accessing Sovereignty. So I just got up, opened my mouth, start speaking, and then it just started coming. And it seemed like it was super short to me. I know I was supposed to do 10 minutes. Seemed like it was super short to me. I was like, afterwards, like, wow, that must have been no longer than 4 minutes. And then I realized it actually was a little bit over 10 minutes. So yeah, it was really fun. And, really got encouraged too. A couple people, like as soon as I got off the stage, were just like, oh my God, like I've been waiting for that like my whole life, to hear someone saying those kinds of things to a crowd of people. So yeah, that was really encouraging. And basically, I'm just sharing the same kind of message that I usually share with you guys. And it's basically that you cannot have a perception of anything that didn't come from you. So if you're perceiving tyranny and that's coming from you, you have a choice now to change that. You have a choice, because if that's coming from you, that's a feeling being projected. Every time you get the perception of tyranny, it's projected from your energy field, which is an effect of your own thinking. So you can have that thinking corrected if you don't think what the answer is. If you don't think like what you're looking at. You don't know what you're looking at. It's nonsense. It's an illusion. Where do I share this live? On Facebook, on my channel. It's called Wisdom Dialogues Online, and that's where it is live right now. Yay, aloha, Leah. Thank you. Thanks for joining. So yeah, it's definitely interesting going up before a crowd, especially a crowd of activists, and saying that that whatever you're doing, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the energy, where it's coming from. So yeah, I just left all of that in the spirit's hands. Anytime like I would get a thought, what are you going to actually say? Like even coming right up to the minute, I get the thought, like where it's like right before, it's like, oh my God, what are you going to say? And it's like, okay, I don't know. It's just the same as when I come to Wisdom Dialogues. I really don't know. Whatever it is that needs to be shared does get shared. And one thing that that is interesting to just practice, because it's a reality based on belief, right? It's a false reality based on believing whatever it is. So whatever it is that you do find yourself saying, no matter what, it was perfect. No matter what, it was awesome. You might get an interpretation of it and go, that was the wrong thing. How can you know? It's an illusion based on nothing, totally based on nothing. So you decide, you're the one who decides whether or not that was perfect. And, one friend asked me, you can't just make it whatever you want. And I'm like, yes, I can. That's exactly what you're doing. That's what we're all doing. We're all making it what we want. mean, make it as if I can't do it. What I can't make it how I want is making it how you want, we're all doing that. So when you recognize that you are the one making it up, then you realize that you have dominion over this thing. You have dominion over the world that you perceive because it comes from you. So there's nothing in it that can be any kind of oppressor. There's nothing in the world that can be any kind of oppressor. And basically what's being asked of us is to bring them back into our heart. Basically anyone that you think is oppressing you or trespassing you, big name, small name, store owners, whatever it is, to bring them back into your heart, because there's this resistance whenever you think that someone outside of yourself is oppressing you. When you realize you're oppressing yourself, the only resistance there is fear of knowing that. Because you can only be oppressing yourself. And you might say, well, why would I oppress myself? And it's because of fear. We oppress ourselves out of fear. And, that's fear of losing this image that we made of ourselves. Everything that we project, all of the things that we make into any kind of problem or issue for us or something to be against, that's what props up this image of self. And there's a deep rooted fear of losing this image. So there's definitely resistance to letting go of an idea, like say, there's no oppression in the world. Hope, how can you say there's no oppression in the world? Now they're saying that you have to have vaccines to have jobs, and people are losing their jobs, and people are getting vaccines when they don't want to, and people have to wear a mask and all kinds of different things. And it's like, you put that image out there, like say it's a store that wants you to get a vaccine to get in, you projected that image out there. It's as if you need that service. It's as if. See, when you know that you don't need anything in the world, for one, everything just comes to you. You realize, there's no, it's not like that. It's not like that. Your sustenance comes through you. Okay. It doesn't really come from anywhere in the world. When you perceive it coming to you from anywhere in the world, that's a mirror reflection of your allowing it to come. Okay, nothing's going to come to you, good or bad. Nothing's going to come to you unless it's perfect for you. So that's why you don't need anything in the world. That's why if someone says, hey, you can't come in here, you might, you would feel really grateful to them. No matter what they did, you'd feel really grateful if you knew that how much that's helping you, how much whatever they do in any way, it's always helping you. You can make it into something and pretend that it's not helping you. You can make it into something else. You can make it into something not helpful. And then that's what it'll be. It'll not be helpful to you. That's just the way it goes. Because, it'll be whatever you make it. But if you open up to, it is helpful to me, then you can see the blessings in it. You can see where your resistance is. You can see, you can feel how you're making it. Okay. And when you're making it, you don't need to try to change it. You don't feel the need to try to change it, because whatever we perceive, all of it is going perfectly. It's bringing everyone to the point where they're willing to accept what's really true. By seeing so much illusion crumbling, people become more willing, more open to see what's really true. And that's why I feel like I had a decent reception over there at the Freedom Rally. People are just more open to hearing something else, because there's so much pressure, and people are tired. People are getting tired of fighting. You could say consciousness in general is getting tired of fighting. And that's the thing. The more we fight, the more we project it forward. That's what samsara is. And, I'm not saying that anyone should stop any kind of activism or anything like that. It's not on the surface like that. It's not a matter of what you're doing on the surface. It's a matter of how you're taking it. Is it a blessing, or is it a curse? Is it a burden? You know, if you're out there, if you're out there waving signs and stuff and you feel like it's a burden, you're like, this sucks. How much longer am I going to have to do this? And before they change their ways, you know, that projection is for something you don't actually want. You know, that's projecting for something that you don't actually want. But if you're out there and you feel like it's a blessing, and whatever anyone does, people in cars, they're flipping you off, right? And you're like, yeah, you know, and you're feeling blessed by everything. That's a totally different story. So it's not in what you do at all. You know, that's really nothing. In fact, whatever you do find yourself doing, you don't have a choice in it in the first place. That's you being played out as one part of the whole illusion, the whole world illusion, just one aspect of it being played out. Now, there's nothing personal about it at all. We just make stories about it, like, this is why I do this. Isn't that fun? It's fun to watch yourself making a story, like why you do something, you know, and just notice, you know, you're gonna make stories about it. This is why I do this thing. It's not really true. Just notice that the story you tell is a narrative. It's not really true. Whatever it is that you found yourself doing, because it was perfect for awakening your mind. It can't be any other way. So, you know, that takes away all kinds of, you know, things like regret, you know, wishing it could have been different, you know. Also self-sacrifice. I found that out this week in a conversation with a friend of mine. You know, she was really really committed to keeping self-sacrifice. I'm not sure where she stands at this point, but she stated in no uncertain terms, she wanted that self-sacrifice, because, you know, it's reasonable when you're identified with the ego, of course, because you find yourself in a situation where you could be at home relaxing in a bath, but instead you're, for instance, picking up a friend from jail. They just went to jail and you're picking them up, right? And you're going in your mind and you're believing it, I'm sacrificing myself for this person because I love them. Well, what if self-sacrifice is totally impossible and that's just a story you told yourself? You didn't have a choice. You really didn't have a choice in it. That's the illusion. You're thinking you have a choice. So in thinking that you have a choice, then that makes it, you know, it gives all this leeway to the ego to prop your self-image up as if you could sacrifice. And then you think you do sacrifice. Okay. And whenever you think you sacrifice, you're bringing illusions that are requiring more sacrifice of yourself. This is what's fun about it. Oh, you want to keep sacrifice? Okay. Let me know how that works out. The funny thing is, you know, you don't even get the illusion. Like it's a very rare occasion that I even get the sense of some kind of sacrifice coming up. Very rare. I even get the sense of it. And I'll tell you what, when I do get the sense of it, oh my goodness, I'm stoked. Because as soon as I get the sense of that and I recognize what it is, you know, hopefully quickly. I think we all want to do it quickly, but that's just a matter of how willing I am. But as soon as I notice I'm in self-sacrifice mode, and I allow myself to get the release for it, it is beautiful. And you know, even the self-sacrifice thought is so appreciated. You know, you don't have to pursue a thought that you appreciate. In fact, you're not going to pursue the thought if you appreciate it for being what it is. You know, for being a means to teaching your mind. You know, if that thought is a means to teaching your mind and not some kind of dictator, kind of instructionary, freaking mean teacher that tells you this is what it is. It's self-sacrifice. This is what it is, because you could be in a bath right now. And it's like, no, you can't be in a bath right now. That's not possible. You can only be where you seem to be. And you're not even really there. Okay. There's no being anywhere. We're all following trails of thought. It's like streams of thought. Okay. And the thoughts are rushing fast, 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 fast. We're just grabbing a few of them and we're just cruising along on them. And you know, when we resonate together, like we're cruising like similar streams, or our streams meet like this, we come together. We don't have a choice. It just goes like that. So anytime the thought of self-sacrifice comes up, you know it's not true. That's all it takes. And look, if someone else is acting like they're sacrificing themselves for you, let yourself get some release, because when you're projecting that, you feel it. When you're projecting them acting as if they're sacrificing themselves for you, that's a feeling. Okay, to see how all of your relationships can just calm down. You just relax the feeling. You end up in a different place, basically. You know, if place is made up of streams of thought, you end up in a different place. They're like in a lighter version of yourself. And then, you know, you're communicating within this relationship. You're actually communicating, because look, what is the relationship anyways, other than this sensory experience? It's a sensory experience. That's why you don't need a body close to you. It could be thousands of miles away, or it could be one that got killed. It could be a dead body. It doesn't matter. The body doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with it. You're in relationship with everything. So whenever a person, a place, a thing, an animal crosses your mind, you're relating. A plant. I do that with plants all the time. I love relating with the plants. There's this relating that's going on, and it's through sensation. So when they're crossing your mind and you're experiencing a sensation, that's the relationship. The stuff that you see on the surface, or you think you see on the surface, is only manifesting out of that core of the relationship, which is this sensation. And you know, the sensation is also an illusion. It's projected from thought. But you know, the sensation is more like guideposts. It's signals. It's giving you signals. The sensation will let you know whenever you're on a thought that denies who you are. You could say whenever you're pursuing a thought that hurts your mind, the sensation will let you know. So, you know, you can surrender that. The reason the sensation is letting you know, or you're being taught by your spirit through the body sensation, is so that you can just allow some relief for yourself. See, it's a really intelligent kind apparatus. Actually, it's very intelligent if you use it properly. If you use it properly, it works for you. Okay, because you can just keep on relaxing whatever it is that you're holding, that you're resisting. It's your resistance within yourself that's going to make you perceive yourself being in some kind of conflict, or not liking. That's another thing, just not liking a person. Of course, it's okay. It's not saying that you have to hang out with them. Not that you have a choice in that anyways. But if you get the sense that you don't like a person, that has nothing to do with that person. That's just a sense that arises in you, and you project the person. You can say the person who's really you, because there's only one of us. The person is like acting out how you want them to act out. They're doing whatever they're doing for you, and the only thing that they're really worthy of from you is gratitude, not something less than that. A minimum gratitude for giving you exactly what you need. So for instance, the thought of something like, I don't know, Bill Gates, let's say, crosses your mind, and you get this murderous thought. Maybe you get an intense feeling in your energy field That's the opportunity. If you actually believe that that's about whoever it is, who did I say? Bill Gates. You think it's actually about Bill Gates, then you're projecting it. Then you're making more of this kind of thought, feeling cycle to keep on going. That's what they call samsara. Okay, so let's say even if all the freedom lovers got together and totally shut this whole COVID thing down tomorrow, even if they all got together and shut it all down, and nothing changes because the mind didn't change, another group or whatever will occur, it'll just come right back in, because we're propping up a tyrannical system in the mind. And that's because we keep on believing tyrannical thoughts as if they're true. So here's one tyrannical thought that you might miss. Most people miss this one. It's like, oh, I had a really good sleep last night. And then you want to pin it on something that you did the day before. Oh, well, let's see. What did I eat yesterday? And then you want to try to do something like that again. Okay. This is you being tyrannical. It's like locking you into this idea as if you're this human doing, as if cause and effect in the world is really true, as if you can, as if something in the world can make you feel good or bad. It's not true. You get the feeling according to what you make true for yourself. Whatever you seem to do in the world in order to get to that feeling is only part of the projection. You didn't really do those things. There's not a past. It's only part of the projection. So you don't have to put it on yourself. Like, oh, I have to repeat that again. You actually don't have a choice in it. Let consciousness take care of everything. You don't have to think so much. Can you imagine just like being relieved? You don't have to think so much. You don't have to worry about things. You don't have to try to figure out how you're going to afford your food, your good food. Like, some people get worried they're not going to be able to afford their good food, the more expensive organic kind food. And, that's not the thing that's sustaining you. It's not food. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Doesn't have anything to do with that. But look, we've been programmed like our food is really important. It's really important that you get the right food. We've all been programmed like that. Even the people that eat at McDonald's, okay? Their stuff is fortified with vitamins and shit that they think they need to be healthy. Okay? So we think that we have to have certain food in order to be healthy. So then we think that we have this burden on ourselves to make sure that we get that food. We don't have to do it. We don't have to actually do it. We're not human doings. See, it's going to take a little bit to see through this. But start now. The mind's only going to get more tyrannical, so you might as well start now. Get your release from it, so that I think you've heard like, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Your rod and thy staff, they strengthen me, they comfort me. Something along those lines. It's like kind of like you're above that whole dark energy, this darkness that seems to be presenting itself in the world, this divisiveness. Not everyone perceives it as tyrannical. So when I say that and you don't perceive it like that, that's not for you then. If you don't perceive anything tyrannical in the world, that's not for you, because I'm not saying that's the way it is. But there's this sense that there's this darkness in the world, but actually there's no world. And that's why you're above it, because there's actually no world. You always are above it anyways. It's just that when you get the perception of it, and think that it's real, it's like your energy vibration goes boop lower to meet that energy vibration of that thing that you think you see. So you're projecting something of a low energy vibration into the field, and then believing in its reality. It's like you agree to lower your energy vibration to meet it in order to agree with it being real. Okay. So whenever you allow that to occur in your energy field, you start projecting. And don't be afraid of projecting. That just projects more. There's no need to be afraid of projecting. Your awareness of projecting is plenty. Just knowing that projecting is projecting, not other people's projecting. Forget about other people's projecting. Leave their projecting a fucking alone. You're projecting. Okay? Your projecting is the only projecting that's important in the whole world. Okay, because you are projecting the whole world, so it's your projecting. When you're aware of your projecting, that's the healing. Your observation of it teaches your mind how to make a better choice. And that's the same, the choice between the same two options is coming again and again and again. It's like, do you believe in what you made, or do you believe in the word of God, basically? Do you believe in the illusions you made, or do you believe in what's actually true? Well, what do you want to believe? And that comes back to the friend that was saying you can't just have it any way you want. Yes, you can, because it is. What do you want to believe? I mean, there's nothing but that. Okay, you guys, you got comments over here on Facebook. I can't see them all. I don't know why. It says there's 12. I only see like 4. So, and I love you guys, and I love those comments. And if anyone has a question on Facebook, and I don't answer it, send it to me in an email. Okay, I'll check over there every so often. In case you don't know and you're on with me live, you're welcome to raise your hand. You're also welcome to ask me any questions in the chat, or the Q&A. If you're on Facebook, good luck. If I don't see it, send me a chat. Otherwise, join us over here on Zoom. The link is right there on Facebook. If you're joining later on YouTube, sorry about all that. I love you guys. Oh, let's do a little bit of how to take care of an illusory body, shall we? That sounds so fun to me. How do you take care of an illusory body? The thing isn't even real. So how do you take care of it? When people are first getting into this, they're like, oh, I could just totally disregard it. And it's like, okay, that's one way of taking care of it. That's one way of taking care of it, because any kind of disregard you're disregarding in the mind. Okay. So basically, the physical form is a projection of the mind. Okay. It has no reality to it whatsoever. It's totally neutral. It's not good or bad. And it either receives your love or your condemnation. Okay. Your condemnation is going to be like an attack on the body. It's going to make pain. It's going to make, things like indigestion, upset feeling, everything, the shape of it, everything. It's all projected by the mind. The hair, the eyes, the lips, the teeth, it's all projected by the mind. So it's like, okay, how do I take care of something then? So it comes down to, in the moment, whenever there's a choice, like, okay, what should I eat? Don't consult your mind. Ask your guide. Don't consult your mind. Don't consult your ideas, what you should eat. You don't have to consult your ideas. You don't have to ask like that. Ask your spirit, and whatever it is that you eat, it's right for you. If you ask your spirit, if you ask your teacher, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. It's all the same. We have the same teacher. Okay. When you ask our shared teacher what to eat, whatever you eat is going to feel like the right thing. If you asked and you listened, okay, how do you listen? There's a sense of what you should eat. There's just a sense of it. You just know. When you ask, you know. You got to be quiet. You know, you have to exercise. This is where like focus and willpower comes in, because you have to exercise focus and willpower to not follow your ideas. Oh, last time I ate that, it was fucking. Last time I ate that, I felt really good. Okay, forget about last time. And what is it right now? And that's everything. That's exercise. If you're, whether you exercise or not, it's not your decision. There's a lot of stress and tension in that arena that I notice. And a lot of it comes from trying to put pressure on yourself to develop a routine, to be exercising. And that is total resistance to feeling. Okay. That's what's going on. It's just resistance to feeling. When you get the sense that you should be exercising more, that's a feeling. In that moment, it's an opportunity to allow that feeling to be met with compassion. Okay. For the most part, people don't use it for that. Instead, they just believe it, that they should be doing something different. Like they have a choice in it. The more that is fed to the mind, or you could say fed to consciousness, because basically what we're doing is teaching consciousness about who we are, and then consciousness is just projecting it. So, we're demonstrating to consciousness, this is what I am. This is who I believe I am. Okay. So the exercise sessions, or whatever you call them, your workout or whatever, your yoga practice, it's just going to be attractive to you when it's right for you, and you're gonna feel excited to have that time and the experience of getting into your energy field and sensing what all the feelings are like. And it'll not be about trying to whip yourself into shape or something like that. Oh, I got to get in shape. No one has to get in shape. No one's out of shape. I don't care what shape you see yourself in. You're not out of shape. Okay. Because that you'd have to be comparing in order to say that. You're always in the perfect shape for healing. Okay. And the only reason you projected this whole thing is so that you can heal the thought that you separated yourself from the creator, absolve all your guilt, and see only innocence once again, the innocence that you thought you lost. That's the only reason why anyone's projecting a world based on separation that ends in death. That's the other part of it. Like, I don't know why we would be supporting something that seems to end in death, but that seems to be the thing. And people get so defensive when you talk about something like this. It's like, no, I want to keep death. Like, no, I want to keep death. So, when you witness people getting defensive about any kind of thing, anything at all, but especially something where, you're speaking the truth, basically speaking from the truth, you could say, the elephant in the room that everyone just doesn't want to look at, is recognizing that anyone's judgment or anything like that is also coming from you. Okay. So when you see people get defensive, it's like, oh, you just like let that be embraced. Give them the freedom to be defensive, because their defensiveness is yours. Isn't that fun? So since their defensiveness is mine, and I see it as it's mine, I just let that be the case. It's okay. Not like they shouldn't be defensive or something like that. Okay, so when you're in the midst of some kind of exercise, workout, yoga practice, or anything like that, keep turning your attention to the sensation. The sensation's going to show you. Working out actually doesn't get your body in shape. It doesn't work like that. It comes from your mind. So, if you really want your workout to be productive, then you will be paying close attention, honing your focus in on the energy sensations, the feeling of it. Say you're doing a chest press and when you're pressing, you're feeling all the areas that that's touching. You're not just getting from one point to another or a number of reps. You're not just trying to get from back here to out front out here, but you're feeling everything. That's what makes a workout work in the first place. And that's why they train athletes to do breath, use, how do you say it? Coordinate the breath with the movement. That's why they teach athletes to do that, because it's known that it's the mind that's making the results. It's our mind that's making the results happen. And this thing, you could just go, okay, I'm going to practice just with exercise. Like if you're just starting out, you're just starting to hear me, and you're or you've been listening for a while and this sounds fun to you, it doesn't matter. If this sounds fun to you, you could just take the exercise thing and play with that for like however long it's interesting to you, because that breaks down your illusions across all the areas in your life. That helps to break down all the illusions. So it's like you can pick one to start out with. In order for your mind to be completely purified, and then it requires forgiveness of the illusions in every single aspect of your life. And what I'm talking about is basically forgiveness of your illusion, because it's an illusion that you can exercise to get yourself in shape, or that you can sit around like a couch potato and eat potato chips and get yourself out of shape. I know it looks like that. I'm not going to disagree with you. It looks like that. It's a convincing illusion. That's why it's meant to make you feel guilty. It's meant to make you feel like you have some kind of say or control over how your life goes. You don't. That's not how it works. You have some say and total dominion over what you're making of it only. From there, your life is unfolding. From what you're making of it, from what you're making of your life, from what you're making of your perception, your life is unfolding. That means you can't do anything to help yourself or hurt yourself in the world. It's just not possible. It's like you're watching a movie that's projected from somewhere else, totally not in your control. However, the projection is changing based upon how you take what's on the screen, how you take it, okay? You guys are so fun. Thanks for laughing with me. I appreciate you. So say you find yourself changing your diet and or taking supplements. Watch the thoughts around that. Just watch. You can, nothing says you can't change your diet. That could happen. Well, let's say you actually can't change your diet. Sorry about that. But your diet can apparently change, and you can apparently be changing it. You don't have a say in that. I love you, Laura. Thank you. You don't have any say in whether or not you change your diet or whether you stick to it or anything like that. So you might as well just enjoy what you seem to be doing. Oh, I love that about myself. I seem to be, and it said this about myself on the pattern, and I could definitely relate with it. It says I'm basically programmed or patterned to be self-critical. And what's the other one? Self-critical something. And I just was like, I love that about myself. There's no problem with any of this stuff. When you get the perception of yourself being self-critical and you're aware of it, it doesn't have the power to project anything. That's what's awesome. you know, it's just, it's funny. It makes it comical. And the funny thing is, when you're aware of it, the self-criticism, it lessens so much. That could turn into self-consciousness, basically feeling self-conscious or shy or anything like that. um and when there's just awareness, oh, that's self-criticism. Yeah, I don't really like this thing about myself. Let's see if we can change it. It's like, oh, that's self-criticism. That doesn't actually mean anything. But you still might find yourself, I don't know, doing a leg lift if your self-criticism was about your ass. And that's what I noticed. Like any kind of self-criticism that arises, I just let it be and let it kind of like settle. And like really get curious about the feeling and get to know the feeling. And it gets a certain kind of release where I'm like, oh, I don't have to concern myself with any of that. It's just cute, and it's like appreciated too. And then the illusion, it just plays out, you know to where it seems like I've implemented something, maybe a new routine or a new whatever or something like that, and then it seems to like be working out. But I have no pressure on myself about it because I don't have to make that thing occur. I had one instance where I was feeling really bloated at one point. It was probably a couple months ago. I was feeling really bloated, and I went on a retreat. Oh, it was when I went on that silent retreat. I was barely eating anything, but I was just like super bloated. And my friend and I, after at the end of the retreat, once I was talking again, we're like looking at that, and then we're coming up with a plan for like what we're both gonna eat, right? And the whole time it's going on, I'm noticing what it is and I'm feeling into it, even though I'm playing it out, I'm playing along with it. And I'm feeling into it. And the funny thing is, one of the things that we weren't supposed to eat at all, like number one, was do not eat bread. What happens? First thing when I get home, I am baking bread and actually fasting on bread and butter. This is just like I didn't have a choice in it. It was funny. I just find myself baking bread, and then I'm fasting on. I'm like, oh, I didn't decide and go. I'm gonna fast on bread and butter today. Oh, I'm fasting on bread and butter right now. Isn't that funny? I just came up with a big ass plan about how I was gonna eat no carbs or starch or anything like that. Anyways, my tummy was fine because I'm willing to see that it's not anything that's from the illusion that's doing that to me. I'm just willing to see that. And then like over time, some different things occurred. I went to this supplement website that my friend recommended, and it looked good. So I bought like $500 worth of these supplements. They never came. They never came in the mail. It ended up being like me contacting American Express and going, okay, you know what? Those supplements never came. Can I have my $500 back? Didn't need them. Knew I didn't need them. These things, these like the body's health or certain cycles go round and round like that. They're only to teach how we're gripping onto something, and we learn through these illusions. Like when I find myself online buying some supplements, I know I'm witnessing an illusion. And any thought that tells me, oh, these are going to help me or anything like that, I know I'm witnessing something here that is not true. I'm only witnessing an illusion. So, and just like watching it play out. And it's fun, you guys. I think it's really fun. So the next thing I know, I find myself for like a week or so, I realized I haven't had any chips or chocolate. Two things which I was eating like pretty often up till then. And I just didn't like feel for the chips or chocolate. And then I realized, oh, I'm not eating any chips or chocolate. Okay. And then that's been the case for a little while. And it would seem like, okay, well, because you cut those two things out, and okay, it might seem like that because after I cut those two things out, then I'm not getting that kind of stuff anymore. There's also all the different kinds of things like you can attribute it to. I also have what's called focused life force energy directed at my house all the time, that's said to raise your vibration and And then you don't need to deal with any kind of stupid ass little stomach aches and bullshit like that. So it's like, who knows? And none of it's true. None of it works. I mean, if anything works, it's that focused life force energy, because that's actually like prayer, you know. It's like it's like the gift that we have in this illusion to share with each other is love, and that comes in a form like energy. So focused life force energy, the same as like saying if it's the same as like saying a prayer, which it seems like that's what it is, that's going to be the thing that's going to be effective way more than anything that anyone eats. So you just don't have to deal with BS like that. And if you are dealing with something stupid like that, like you have a cavity, or I don't know, you have water in your ear, you have a botched boob job, maybe, you know, it's the same. You don't have to do anything about it. And anytime you get the perception of yourself doing something about it, like say you're calling a doctor to fix your boob job or something, you're just getting the perception of that occurring. Okay, you're just getting the perception of that. Also, I seem to be wired to be focused on things like clothes and beauty and stuff like that. It's all okay. It's all just okay with me. Okay, whatever it is, whatever the way the perception is playing out is all good with me. I know exactly what it's for. That's why. So I find myself at this it's a cosmetic beauty place here, because I really enjoyed what I had over there in Arizona. They did some kind of a facial where it was light directed to the inner layers, and my skin just feels so soft, so nice. Anyways, I know it's not soft from that. I know that. And then I still perceive myself going, oh, I'm on the phone calling another cosmetic place because I want to see what else what else you guys got? What else kind of tools you guys got in your freaking tool belt over there? So I make an appointment. First of all, you know, I let them know I don't wear a mask. So do you see people without masks? And they said, yes, we could just put you straight into the treatment room where you meet with people. I'm like, okay, cool. So that was actually the second place. First place I made an appointment, I showed up and they're like, no mask, no service. And I'm like, okay, I don't need that. Thank you. It's not that important to me. Even though I have the unmask, I was like, nope. Anyways, I had a really interesting experience where the physician's assistants came in and started in with some kind of a fearful energy. It was really interesting because it was like, first, you know, like don't use black salve on cancer, it'll kill you. That's a natural remedy that that I used when it seemed like I had skin cancer. I had put some black salve on there and then it puffed out and came out. Don't ever do that, that'll kill you. And I'm like, oh really? So, you know, I know that's why I'm there, to get those sensations. So when a person says something like that and I get and I get a reaction out of that, you know, that'll get a reaction. Oh yeah. Oh, what about skin cancer? Well, I've had that before and I've used black salve. Oh no, never use that again. That'll kill you. Dang. So it's like a matter of getting that sensation. Oh, okay. You know, okay, well, and then I shared, well, oh, I had a really different experience. It seemed to come right out and all good. No, I'm not interested in getting anything cut off or anything like that. So come to find out, you know, the person's got a mask on and everything. So I can only see like from here up. And I'm noticing that the skin is a mess. And this is a cosmetic place where I'm going. I'm noticing the skin is a mess. It's like red and peeling and stuff like that. And noticing, wow, it does not matter like how much technology you got. No, it does not matter. Like this person works in at a high level and has been receiving all the treatments. So that's going to be a good gonna give you a good indication of where it's going. So she got the mirror, she came around, And she's like, okay, so like, I go, okay, what about right here? And she said, okay, if we pull it up like this, see this? How do you like that? I was like, oh, that's freaking awesome. And then she goes, okay, here's what you need. You need us to, she didn't say it like this, but this is how I thought of it. You need to pump all this silicone in here to like puff this out and make this come like this. And I was like, oh, I was thought to myself, I did not say it. I thought to myself, that's the look that I see, that I go, what the heck is that look? I'm like, and then the lips are like this. So I'm laughing and having fun, and I go, okay, oh, okay, you say that too. I go, okay, oh, okay, thanks. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna, you know, I was still kind of considering it. And then she pulled off her mask to show me. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's the, just to myself, oh, that's that look. Okay, that's what I don't want to go for. I mean, I think I'd rather have this shit like hang down to here. I'm not saying that anyone shouldn't do that. I mean, that is a look that a lot of people like, dudes included, apparently. I mean, that's a look that a lot of people like. That's not a look that I'm going for. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing or anything like that at all. I mean, I have friends who have that look, and I'm like stoked for them because they're stoked, right? I also am not into a boob job look. Plenty of people like that, okay? Not saying that it's bad or anything. Every experience, doesn't matter how mundane or seemingly whatever, but also being in a situation like that. One thing I love about going into a situation like that is it puts my mind's insecurities right in front of me. I love it because I'll get lots of sensation just being in an office like that, where we're talking about like medical kind fear. People have this strong medical kind fear. Oh my God, if you don't come in here and you let us cut off all your cancer, it's going to go to your internal organs and you're going to fucking blow up. Right. I don't go for that. It just doesn't, it doesn't resonate for me, but I love it when I get the perception of it, because it triggers something, it triggers some resistance, and that allows me to work through it. And yeah, it is like, it's like connection. And then interestingly enough, it's like I felt for this person who was trying to tell me that I would be really happy if I got these fillers in my face. I felt for that, because there was a sense of, it takes this to be happy. And so then I pointed out this little part on my neck right here. She's like, oh yeah, all of us women hate our necks. And and immediately just hearing that, it's just like boom. It's like hearing that, like hating on ourselves, like that's all we can do is like give ourselves condemnation or self-love. It's like one or the other, just hating on ourselves. And yeah, I just let her know, well, I'm not trying to hate on it, just seeing what you might have for it, and she's like, oh, and it's kind of like, interesting, because it's, I think, a vibe. A lot of what's going on is how it sucks. Aging sucks. This is the kind of vibe that it is going in there. And we shouldn't have to lose our collagen. But since we do, we need to pump it back in there. We don't have to do any of this shit. For one thing, what's it going to get you? What's it going to get you? We really, people, think you're pretty. What does that get you? That's coming from you. That's also coming from you. So there's no need for any of it. There's also no need to resist it if you're wired that way. I happen to be someone who seems to be wired that way because I keep on finding myself interested in that shit. And see, it's no different from being interested in, let's say, gardening. There's no difference, because whatever it is, wherever my interests are taking me, I'm meeting people, I'm getting my lessons, I'm teaching and learning wherever I go. And that's anyone, that's everyone. Everyone's teaching and learning wherever they go. I'm not the only one. There is one of us, only one of us. And everyone is teaching and learning all the time. It's about, what are you teaching and learning? You're always teaching and learning who you think you are to your own mind. Isn't that glorious? Isn't that glorious? So whatever way you're meant to express, whatever way you're taking your experience, you're teaching your mind about who you are. And you're teaching consciousness how to project your reality. Okay. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Fun. No, you guys, I don't need you to tell me I'm pretty, but you can if you want. I won't try to deny it. So yeah, I love that. I love that one. How to take care of an illusory body. Okay, so another one of the thought processes that I picked up in the cosmetic, what would you call it? It's like cosmetic. I guess it's like a cosmetic doctor's office, really. I mean, you have to have a doctor's license to do this light therapy and shit, or you have to be a nurse or something. You have to be something in that realm. Okay. Another one was, you don't need it right now, but pretty soon you're going to really need a facelift. Or maybe it was, you're going to really want a facelift. You need to start putting your pennies away for that right now. So that was just really fun on a lot of different levels, just for me to hear that. Just for someone, thank you. I've been waiting for someone to say that to me. That is a good thing to say. One, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to live without a facelift. You're not going to be able to live without a facelift. You're going to have to get a facelift because you're just not going to like the natural effects of aging. Well, I don't know that for sure. We'll see what happens. And then the other part about, you're going to have to save your money for it. Cosmetologist. Thank you, Leah. It's called a cosmetologist. You're gonna have to save your money for it. And I'm like, I didn't even respond to that at all. It was just like, just hearing you're gonna have to save your money for anything is great for me, because it speaks to something that I know really well. This idea that we need money to get things that we think we want, like in the future and stuff. Make sure you put it away so that you can get what you want. And it's like, that doesn't even mean anything for me, but I'm just so happy to be able to receive that, because when someone says something like that and there's not agreement in the other person, you know what? It's like a gift. It's like you've given a gift, and the person will open that gift as soon as they can. And you could say they'll open that gift as soon as you're ready for them to, because they are projected from your own mind. So everyone will be healed. That means everyone's perception will be healed. No one will believe that they have to do anything for anything. And what would we need to beautify? Thanks, Akea. Akaya's on Facebook. She said you're the prettiest mom she ever saw. Oh, you're fun. What would it be? You can't see her. She just made a comment on Facebook. Now there's my son Blaze, in case you guys want to see him. Look at him.
Raja.
And what would you want to be prettier or better looking for? See, that's the thing. And that's the thing to just check. Just be aware of it. Is it to attract another body? To make more money? What do you want it for? See? And this is what helps you to drop all wanting. So it's like you can go on a seeming pursuit of some physical perception, but it could all be very playful for you. It could all just be for awakening the mind. And you don't have a choice in whether you pursue those things either. So it's not like you can go, okay, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to be really spiritual and not do that. Or whatever people think certain things. I'm just throwing it out there. Whatever it is, okay? It could be cosmetology. Some people say they're not going to eat meat, or they're not going to eat cooked food. My friend Chitta, he's on here. He's not going to eat cooked food. He's probably not going to eat very many vegetables either. I'm not going to smoke ganja, or I am going to smoke this much ganja to be spiritual. Either way, whatever you think it is that you should or should not be doing is a distraction. So, and just letting it be whatever it is. Like wherever you find yourself, you're dreaming, you find yourself in that thing in the moment. If I find myself thinking that this thing is going to work to do something to whatever, I'm always just observing that. I know that I need something as a mind in order to, because my faith isn't complete. In order to make illusions, I need devices to make those illusions. It's just not in the device itself. It's actually in my mind. It's my mind that's making the illusion of a result, a good result, a bad result. Some people get a bad result. Get a bad result from it, also comes from the mind. I got a bad result. Now I'm suing. You guys were negligent. Yeah, you could go through that too. Say you got a boob job, and then the next thing you know, I don't know, it's popping out of the side. And then you go, okay, now I'm suing the boob job guy, whatever he is. I'm suing the boob job guy. Still, you're teaching and learning. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's cosmetic stuff. We did the exercise. We did the cosmetic stuff. We talked about the food. I know the food is a really big one for people. I know that's a big one. And, one of my friends was telling me, I just don't know about that food one. Well, the thing is, it's not really that difficult, except it's your unwillingness to just apply truth to the moment. If you get the feeling like after you eat something, you have some certain kind of food, you have like a tummy upset or something like that. Whenever you get that feeling, that's for healing. That's for healing the thought that food has any effect on the body. So you got this feeling, and it's as if you did something. It's a guilty feeling. So that's why it's saying it's as if you did something to make yourself feel crappy. Like it's as if you can do something in the world to affect how you feel right now. That's the part that's not true. So you don't have to change anything. You don't have to go around and eat the food or tell yourself, I'm just going to eat the food. You can't really eat it anyways, but you can tell yourself, I'm just going to eat the food that seems to give me an upset till it doesn't give me an upset. You don't need to think that way. You don't need to think in those terms. Just watch how your mind tries to blame however you feel on what you did before or the food you ate. I notice like my mind will try to blame a soreness on an exercise that I did, and I just won't believe it. And then all of a sudden it'll be like it was forgotten, and there's not, that soreness isn't there. It'll just be like it was forgotten. Tiredness, blaming tiredness on not getting enough sleep. No one sleeps. It's not really a true thing. Your regeneration does not come from sleep. All your benefits come from awakening. Okay? Not from sleeping or eating certain things. Aloha, Angela. Ah, we love you. Now there's 24 comments, and I can see 4 of them. I guess they go away if I don't look at them fast enough. It must be on some kind of a stream. But I did see my daughter's comment. That was hilarious, Kaya. Thank you. Okay, and how do you know when to buy clothes or which clothes to buy? Just look at it like this. Whatever you find yourself buying is the right thing to buy. If you didn't buy it, you didn't need it. You don't have a choice in that either. You know that sense like, oh, I spent too much. This is also about taking care of an illusory body, because it's an attack on your body whenever it seems like you can do something autonomously, like buy your own clothes. It seems like you're doing something autonomously. You don't have to believe it. That's an attack on yourself when you believe it, because it sets yourself up for this guilty feeling and guilty projection. Like you could make yourself go broke by spending too much money. You can, even if you're a gambler, you can make yourself go broke because of your gambling. You can't. It's not possible. You make up the gambling, you make up the going broke, you make up something to pin it on so that you'll feel guilty. That's all. And you pin that on other people. You see other people, and your perception of them was maybe, oh yeah, I saw them going over to Nordstrom and spending like, they dropped like $500 to $1,000. They're just showing off, buying all kinds of stuff. And next thing you know, they're bankrupt. That's an attack on yourself. See? If you take it as if the reason for the bankrupt was that they were spendthrifts, you just put an attack on yourself. You made it as if you can get some kind of result that you don't want by doing something right now, or get a result that you do want by doing something. The doing is 100% in the observation. 100% observation is doing. Nothing else is doing. Nothing. I love you, Angela. Thank you, baby. Thanks for being here. So if you don't identify as a doer, you'll have no cause for feeling guilty ever at all. And you know, the people in your perception will stop seeming like they're trying to hold you accountable for your actions too. No, you get people trying to hold you accountable for your actions. That came from you. You know how you try to hold other people accountable for their actions? That's because you want to be held accountable for your actions, okay? Even though you don't have any choice in what you do. Isn't that insane or what? But the ego will tell you, if you don't hold people accountable for your actions and you're not accountable for your actions, you're going to keep on doing bad things and make worse and worse problems. The opposite is true. What we're seeing, if you look, observe, don't take my word for it, observe how much more misaction, let's say misaction, there's not really misaction, there's misperception of action, you start to see when people should be accountable for their actions. When you believe that people should be accountable for their actions, you start seeing way more misaction. Look at your closest relationships. That's the best indicator of that. Okay. They're going to keep on seeming like, oh, you should not do that. I've practiced that a bunch at home with my kids. Like when it seemed like they should not be doing something because it was going to make a lot of work for me, let's say. Like they were doing something messy, it was going to make a lot of work for me. And just like relax with that. And you see that it's nothing. It becomes nothing. They don't do more of the same thing. That's what everyone was telling me. If you don't punish those kids, they're just going to be worse and worse and worse. And you know what? That's not my perception. My kids are freaking awesome. And I got 2 teenage boys living in my house right now. 2 freaking awesome ass teenage boys. But the thing is, you don't know what you're looking at. So like, there is no house, there is no boys, there is no this, there is no that. So whatever kind of energy they bring, whatever kind of conversation they want to have, anything that seems like it's upsetting for me, or I need to get away from it, or I need to change them, or they need to be different, or they need to be quieter, or they should go to bed at a certain time at night, anything like that, I just relax. How do I sleep? Great. No one's able to wake me up unless I need to be woken up. I know that. You know how much sleep you might lose over worrying about how much sleep you're going to lose? Way more sleep than any. In fact, that's the only thing that makes you lose sleep, because there's nothing in the world that's loud enough to keep you from sleeping if you need to be sleeping. If you need to get the illusion of sleeping, get the illusion that you were asleep. And then waking up again. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. It seems like they woke me up. Thanks. Thank goodness. It seemed like that person woke me up. Ah, thank you. Guess what? You get way better sleep after that. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My kids stay up all night. Stomp around the house. They have no regard. They leave the lights on in the kitchen. Make all kinds of noise. They have no regard. How am I going to sleep with that? You know what? When it's addressed as a feeling, all the chit chat gets reduced to, how does that feel? And then the feeling is released and you're sleeping fine. And no one had to do anything different. Hey, someone raised their hand. What fun. You're on, baby.
Guess who? Hi, Hope.
I
Can you hear me okay?
can hear you great.
Hey, yeah, finally I made it to Wisdom Dialogues after a long time.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
can you say a few words about the apparent, the illusion of choice? I'm still going on with this whole agony and torment over whether to move and take on a full-time job or stay a freelancer and continue cruising around.
All right. You know what?
I'm still doing that.
Yulia.
It's Yulia. Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. I think whatever I say, you're not listening to it. Yeah, it's and you know, don't listen to me really. I mean, it's just a pointer toward your inner guide about this choice thing. You keep on agonizing over something that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
I just can't help. It just won't stop. You know, the whole agony just won't stop.
Well, it won't stop because you believe in it, you give it meaning, you make it true. You're looking at the two sides and thinking pros and cons, pros and cons. You're thinking, how do I manage my life? Stop managing your life.
Yeah, basically, I keep thinking that one of the choices is that somehow I'm going to lose out something. That something
Yeah,
is,
so observe that.
There is a wrong choice, basically.
Right. So observe that thought, observe the feeling. That's really all it is. You're just not willing to do that.
I see. It just,
because you know why I know you're not willing to do that, because you keep on bringing this thing up as if it's something, and it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It does not matter what choice seems to be made. And you know, and right now the choice that's apparently being made is confusion.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what choice you're being made, and with awareness that it doesn't matter, you're watching your mind pretend like it does matter, right?
Yep.
So just watch that. You don't need any help to get out of it. You don't need to get out of that. Just watch that. Watch the effects. Watch. I don't care if it takes 100 years. And the thing is, you're going to get to the point where you don't care if it takes 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And paradoxically, that's when it starts going faster. because the thing is, you're not watching it, you're not willing to watch it and not get caught up in it. So let yourself get caught up in it and watch that.
So basically,
just keep watching the thoughts and what it feels like. The feeling is the immediate effect of believing the thought. Watch the thought, watch what it feels like. Become like a scientist with it. But in order to do that, you got to forget about trying to make your life something.
yes.
That's another thought that you could just use as a means. Use that thought as a means for observing and getting the relief from it. That's just another thought.
So basically, every time I believe that this is somehow an important decision, that's the
right.
trap.
Yes. Every moment when you take the thought that this is important as true, that resonates as an energy in your body's field, and that's projecting.
Cool.
So you only need to be aware of that, because when you're aware of that, that's how you're learning. And you're also demonstrating to consciousness that this thought process that's making you feel like this actually has no meaning. When you're just willing to observe it, then you're actually demonstrating that to your consciousness. So the less meaning that thought process has for you, the less it's going to be attracted to you.
Cool.
And the less energy it's going to have. You have to be willing, though. See, you're choosing to keep this thing as if it's meaningful, as if this is an important decision. There is no place. It does not matter what choice is made here. Okay? Do you believe me?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Okay, I just keep forgetting that.
Yeah. Okay. So whenever you get an upset feeling as if it is important, that's a sign that you don't believe it.
Yeah, I know.
You're helping purify that misbelief. You're helping to purify that misbelief whenever you get the sign that you don't believe it.
Okay? I got it. That's totally clear now. I don't know why I was thinking anything else a minute ago.
Well, maybe take a clip from that and replay it whenever you need to hear it. Because you're gonna forget again.
It's like
you're gonna
I forget. Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Forgetting is part of the process.
That's perfect. It's
just forgetting is part
really obvious.
Part of the process. So write it down or something. Keep it close to you. Write it down. Give yourself some kind of reminder. Maybe take a clip of this part where we're talking. Keep it on your phone, so that you can remind yourself whenever things get heavy, any kind of heaviness. You got to remind yourself none of this shit matters. What matters right now is me using my experience to demonstrate to my consciousness that I am the supreme being. That's what it's for.
And none of the back and forth decisions, thoughts are important.
That's right.
Making your life, making something out of your life, like you said. Right.
That's important. And to a limited self that you made up, that you're holding dear, and you're teaching consciousness that that's what you are. You've been teaching consciousness that that's what you are. Now you teach consciousness that you change your mind, and consciousness changes along with that. You won't have any care. Who cares what choice you make? Eeny, meeny, miny, fucking mo. Doesn't matter.
No, I got it. Now it's perfectly clear and obvious, and it wasn't 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and then the choice will just make itself. You'll see.
Yeah. I shouldn't think about that, because then I'll start thinking that there's a right choice, and I'm not allowed to think that.
Well, the thought itself is a blessing. The thought itself is a blessing because it's triggering something. Don't try to say not allowed to think that. Let it be. Let the thought be there. Don't push it away. No, I'm not supposed to think it's bullshit. The thought is triggering a feeling. That's the blessing. Pursuing the thought is taking a blessing and using it for projecting.
Just kind of stay with the feeling.
Yes. You don't even need the thought, I'm not supposed to think that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
because
put
then
that so
it's
that and any thought that's
another
there,
trap. Oh my God, there are traps everywhere, right?
yeah, that's what's fun. That's
Yes.
what's fun. It's a game.
It's a
It's meant to
computer
be a game.
game.
It's kind of like hide and seek. Okay, your identity has been hidden from you, and now you're like chipping away at all the mud that's been put over who you are, and you're peeling that shit away, and you're seeing what you are. You're seeing little bits and pieces until you see it fully.
Wow. Now it's crystal clear right now.
Yay, perfect. Well, that'll just keep on expanding.
Thank you, Hope.
So, I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Love you
Yay.
too. Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, now you guys maybe see how it goes when someone raised their hand and I talk with someone, in case you guys want to do that. No one's been doing that, but I do see questions here. I need to look what's here. Okay. Oh, Amy, so what ended up happening at the spa? Oh, I just left. I made an appointment to speak with someone else there. Their esthetician. I'm going to speak with the esthetician, and I'm just interested in learning about whatever it is that they have at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I've been just going in and paying to have a consultation, not making an appointment to do anything because I don't know. But I'll keep you updated on that. Okay. I just noticed a thought about Yulia, wondered where she was, and instantly she popped up. Yay. Anne says aloha to you, Yulia. That's Anne, which Anne is that? Anne clapped. Anne K. Yay. We got Anne's. We got Anne's around here. In the flesh. Yeah. And aloha back to Anne. Right on. Everyone's got their aloha on. What else do you guys want to know today? What do you need to know about today? Well, at the moment, I'm feeling pretty complete. But we'll see what comes up. Injuries. Another one about taking care of an illusory body. What if I get an injury? Okay, watch what happens when you get an injury. You start thinking about all the things that you can't do. What if it seems like you gave yourself the injury? What if you worked really hard? You were in a yoga pose and the yoga teacher told you that you should be able to flip your foot backwards and get it all the way to your ear from behind, and you just like jammed yourself into that and freaking shattered your hip. I don't know. That just came up. Maybe one of you is dealing with that. Again, you're looking at ego, cause, and effect. Okay. You didn't push yourself too hard in yoga. You pushed yourself too hard in thinking, meaning you were pursuing thoughts that were making you out to be a limited being. You can't have any kind of accident or injury or illness or even death without your authority, an authority from a higher portion of your mind that knows who you are. You can say it's your inner guide. Okay. It's also a part of yourself, of course, but it's your inner guide that knows who you are and also knows this bullshit that you're thinking about yourself, right? That inner guide is always leading you to exactly what it is that you need. Can't get it wrong. It may appear as if there's an injury, but there's no injury, and that could be healed so fast. I've seen things come and go with me. It's so fun. Like I'll get the sense like, oh, my knee is out. Like one day I'll like go walk, I'll try to walk down the stairs and then I'm hobbling down the stairs. It's like, oh, it seems like my knee is out. It seems like my knee is out. It's not like something that I'm going to make a big deal out of. Okay. First thing I do when it seems like I can't walk because my knee is out is go just sit down and chill out. Just chill out. Don't even sit there and think about it. How I got it. And when I say don't think about it, that means I'm not pursuing thoughts about it. Like I was talking with Yulia earlier, the thought can be there. I don't have a problem with it. It's fine. Thought comes up and said, oh, you were doing that warrior pose too hard. It didn't. Didn't even occur to me, but say it did. Or you sprinted too fast down the street. It's nothing like that. We tend to put ourselves in a box with stuff like that and make it like we can and can't do things. And that kind of mentality too really limits ourselves. So in noticing that, wow, I'm not capable of even having a bum knee. I can just like get this experience. So it's funny, next day, I'm like in the middle of yoga, somewhere in the middle of it, yoga practice. And the thought of my knee occurs to me and then realize it's not even there. And then of course, back to quiet awareness, paying attention and not running off in any kind of thoughts, even if it's a thought of how my knee seems to have miraculously healed. And a lot of miraculous healing that occurs to me is just stuff that I just stop thinking about. I'm like not trying to think about it. I'm not trying to get a solution for it. Or either it'll just miraculously like go away, or else there will be some kind of a thing that's presented to me. Like in the case of the black salve, all of a sudden, I didn't even realize that I apparently had cancer. I didn't even think that I had apparently had any cancer or anything like that. There just seems to be this sore that wouldn't go away. And someone goes, hey, why don't you try this? Try this. Next thing I know, I find out that I have cancer after the cancer is gone, after the cancer is not there anymore. Not apparently there, because it was never there in the first place. It's all a game. It's all just silliness playing out. What are your thoughts on the full moon? Full moon? It must mean full moon, huh, Amy? Full moon effects on our energy? Yeah, we made the full moon to seem like it affects our energy. Yeah, we have to have respect for that, because we did make the full moon to seem as if, or the moon and its phases to seem as if it affects our energy. Planets too, they seem as if they affect our energy. So, and then at the same time, if it's not occurring to you to do anything about it, there's nothing to do about it. For the most part, I don't notice that something like, oh, it must be a full moon because I'm feeling like this, or oh, it must be a new moon because I'm feeling like this. The most I notice about the moon is when I see that fucker in the sky. Then I know, I'm like, okay, it's half moon, it's full moon, it's new moon, whatever. If we made it as if we're affected, and it's like perceivable effects, you're making it like perceivable effects of the moon, then of course you have to respect that. Like, I used to have perceivable effects when I was PMS, and I noticed that every month, like right before my period's gonna start, I was like, wow, I didn't like say I believe in this, like specifically I'm gonna be cranky before my period. But I would just notice, because I'd see the kind of fluctuations, like especially where would I get bitchy with my husband? Like where around the month would I get bitchy with my husband? Because my husband is like this person in my life that I just absolutely love to be with. And it's just the weirdest thing when I find myself getting bitchy with him. So I started to track it, and I realized that I was getting bitchy with my husband every month around that time of the month. What did I use it for? I used it for being very alert. So I was tracking it and noticing when I would be bitchy with my husband, and I'd use that knowledge, that awareness, to be very alert and watch the bitchiness kind of like coming up in myself. And then after a while, there was no difference. There was also a difference like after sex. there would be a bitchiness that would come after sex. And after a while, that starts to be no different. It's in noticing that, like I'm saying, observation is the action. So none of them need to have any effects. You tend to be like this, you tend to be like that. That's why I love the pattern. You guys know that app? I've talked about it before, that app called the Pattern. It's an iOS and Android. I believe it covers both iOS and Android app. And it takes where you were born, when you were born, and the time and everything. And then it calculates like what your patterns are. And, you know, for me, it's looking really accurate, right? Which is awesome because it just makes me more aware of patterns. And then, you know, the more we can be aware of patterns, the more we're not taking these things as personal and we are observing them. If we know that they are patterns, we're observing them then. Okay. So it's real simple like that. And as we observe the patterns, they get played out to the point where they're not a problem. You know, you can still have the pattern. Like I say, I got this self-critical, I forgot what the rest of it was, but man, it's good. Self-critical something. You know, it just becomes like consciousness just playing itself out. Oh, there's self-criticism. Okay. Next thing you know, something will arise. It's like gonna make that thing better, so to speak. Make it apparently better. Some kind of thing will play out. But the thing is, the self-criticism doesn't need to be a burden for me. I just laugh and I hear the self-criticism like, oh, you could use this over here or something like that, and I just laugh. I just get a laugh out of it. And then the play is really easy. Like however I'm played out, it's like really easy. The thing about choice that's really confusing for people is they think that they still want to hold on to the idea that they have a choice in what they do. And that's the hard part, because it's like, why did you choose to do that if you know that the body is an illusion, and you wouldn't need, there's definitely no need for you to get any kind of thing cosmetic or anything like that. Why would you be going toward it? It's like, you know, why do you go toward anything? For healing. So in keeping that in mind, like the only reason you're being drawn toward anything is for healing, and it's only an illusion that you're making a choice in it. That's only an illusion. So you don't use anything that you perceive yourself doing, you know, and I've gone to it before. I'll go to it again just to make a point. Even if you perceive yourself shooting heroin every day, who knows? I might have some friends on here that are into that. I don't know. Even if you're having that kind of perception, that you're shooting heroin every day, you do not have a choice in it. And believing that you do have a choice in it is actually what's drawing you to it, because you're addicted to feeling guilty. So you do things, you find or let's say you don't do anything, but you find yourself doing things. You're made to do things by consciousness because it's playing out your mind. You're made to do things that will trigger a guilty feeling in you because you believe it and project it again and again and again. So if you find yourself shooting heroin every day, and that's not really what you want to be doing, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's what you feel like that's your calling, maybe. And it's possible that that's the case. It could be your calling to do heroin, and you're over there doing heroin, and you're totally like feeling like you're in your in your bliss, you're in your vibe, you're doing as your spirit is calling you to do. If you feel like you're doing heroin and you're like, oh fuck, I hate that I do heroin, I really hate that I do this, that's the feeling for you. That's the feeling that needs to be embraced. And anything that's like a bad habit for you, and a bad habit would be something that brings up a guilty feeling for you. That's the habit, really. It's the feeling guilty. It's not the thing in the world. What makes it a bad habit is that you're using that thing, that projection, to make yourself feel guilty again and again. When heroin loses that kind of power because you reclaimed it and you can't use it to make yourself feel guilty anymore, it'll lose its appeal. Okay? And that's anything else. Anything else, any kind of thing that you think of. If you're using it to make yourself guilty, then it's going to persist. All right. And you know, when you're not using things to make yourself guilty, you're just enjoying and using everything for healing. It's like for me, the way my day goes, it's like enjoying, healing, which is also enjoyable. It's a little bit of a different energy because there's a reaction, there's a triggered reaction. Enjoy, pray. You might say it's praying. It's the same thing. And that's joyful too. It brings you to an even deeper, joyful, calm, and abundant feeling. Okay. 27 comments. All right. And I only see 4. That's on Facebook. I'm seeing all your comments over here on Zoom. Thanks, you guys. And you guys, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, the next time I go back to that cosmetic place, next thing you know, I come back on Wisdom Dialogues and my face is fucking full of silicone. Okay. I don't know. I don't really have a choice in it. It's fun because it's kind of like, oh, where's this gonna go? Am I gonna end up like this? Let's see if I can do it for you. I'm like, can you just put my whole freaking body in a device and just like turn it on and like I come out in an hour and then everything's all like, yeah, I don't know, 29 or something. That's the one I want. It's so funny. One thing I love about cosmetology too, it's like whack-a-mole. Cause you know, you know that game whack-a-mole? It's at like carnivals and fairs and shit. So you have this mallet thing and these little moles are pop up and they pop back down. You want to hit them before they pop back down. You want to smash their head, right? That's how you get points. Well, for every mole that you whack, another one pops up. So that's why I say it's kind of like that game whack-a-mole. So it's like you take care of, like, maybe you get like a little injection right here for crow's feet, and then the next thing you know, you see a wrinkle right here and you're like, fuck, what do I do about that now? You know. It is. It's kind of like that. That's why I just take it so playfully, because it's a lot like I go in there like, oh God, I need to get this thing. This is dreadful. This is just dreadful. I gotta get this thing. And I'm gonna feel better. And I don't get that illusion too. Okay. And then I'm gonna feel better. And then I'm gonna be done. Give me all that and then I'm done. No, it's a playful game, and I like to see how it goes, and who I get to meet and what kind of triggers are going to come up and what kind of healings are going to happen and connections and everything like that. You liked my imitation of the silicone face. Thank you. I appreciate you. I have some very dear friends. I have some very dear friends who have the silicone face, and you know, I love it. And I have friends who go, you know what? That's the face for me. That's the one I'm going to get. And it's like, okay, that's good too. I mean, whatever it is, I'm not going to hate on it. That's for sure. I mean, I'll kiss all over that thing. A couple people in my family have like really big boob jobs too. It's like, so those are pretty fun to play with, especially if they're not in your own body. That's what you can just play with them a little bit and then put them down, and then you can go like, I don't know, do some kind of yoga pose that's right on your titties that you wouldn't be able to do with that silicone breast. Just play with theirs on the side. it's all for fun. It's all for play. And I make a lot of sexual innuendos too, and the sexual stuff like that, just because I like to demonstrate that that's also fun, all for fun and all for play, and it does not need to be taken so seriously at all. And that's exactly what makes people into uh sexually unsatiable or something, where they just like, oh, I gotta get some, is like this idea, like it's serious. Like one friend asked me, well, isn't sex one of my needs? And I was like, no, how could it be one of your needs? How could sex be one of your needs? You need you how you need maybe air, breathing air, you might say, just so that you can keep on getting the illusion of a body, but you don't even need sex to have the illusion of a body. It's just that you thought you did. So then you go and you look at people, and I saw one woman commenting about this on Facebook too. It's like, you guys, you get upset about getting put in the friend zone. How do you think women feel when we're put in the fuck zone? Like, you're only friends with us because you might get to fuck. I mean, that's just funny. It's funny stuff. It's fun to look at. It's like a human condition, that these patterns that we play with each other. It's like, hey, like, yeah, you're okay. I'm good with having women friends as long as there's like this idea that I'm going to get with them. And that kind of energy, it just prevents a certain level of closeness. It prevents a certain level of depth with the woman, because you're focused on the surface of it being a woman. And like with men, all you men are in the friend zone. That's just how it is. I got a man. I only need one wiener. No need for more than that. And I love you. I love my friends, and me and my friends, we have deep, intimate relationships that do not need to involve our genitals. Okay, the whole thing about having to like constantly get this itch scratched all the time, that's from making sex into a serious thing. Like, it's a need. Like, we have to have it. It is necessary for our survival. It's actually not. Even for the procreating part, you don't have a choice in it whether or not you're having sex or not and busting out kids. You don't even have a choice in any of that. None of it is necessary. None of it. So, and you drop that away and look how men and women can relate. It's really beautiful. People don't need to have these kinds of tensions between each other, this sexual thing. And then we're so innocent in our nakedness. That's the other thing. We're also innocent in our nakedness when we're not focused like that. Like, we're gonna make you into this image. Oh no, I shouldn't see that. It's like, we could just be as we are and not have a sense like, oh, you're married, I shouldn't look at your body. It's like, it's just a body. It's so meaningless. My goodness. Okay, we got that. Okay. People are laughing and having fun. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, does anyone have any questions for me now? If you do, raise your hand. I'm going to take another short little quiet session, see what else comes up. Your breath pattern means something. Okay, your breath pattern reflects how you think and feel, how you're thinking and feeling right now. It's always reflecting that. It's good to know that, because you can just check in with your breath pattern. If that's something that appeals to you, you can see when it's choppy or when you're holding it. You can see, what other little things you do with your breath. Maybe you breathe in a little bit and then you breathe back out without taking a full breath. Maybe it's just like shallow. That would be shallow breathing. in watching that, remember, the observation is action. So you could choose to take your focus. This is where you have a choice. You could choose to take the focus of your attention and put it right on your breath and just watch it whenever you feel upset. Or you get the impression that, oh, I'm something like I'm getting fat, or I'm getting old, or I'm too skinny. I was actually dealing with the too skinny thought, which is fucking hilarious. I had to crack up every time that came to me, because my whole my whole life, like from the time I was maybe like 12 years old until more recently, I don't know when, I was like a battle of the bulge kind of person. It was always like I was on the side of being too chunky. And so it was always like, oh, what did I eat? It's gonna make me fat. And then it gets to the complete opposite. How do I get more calories so I can gain weight? And it's just like, keep on looking at that. And I even find myself going through the motions, like find myself, okay, now I'm eating 3 meals a day. Oh, I find myself eating 3 meals a day. Wow, you really get a lot of poops when you eat 3 meals a day. I didn't realize. That was the main thing I noticed. I'm like, well, if I wanted to get the experience of taking really big shits, that's what's happening now. But you know, other than that, there is no weight gain coming from it. Also, there's awareness of, you know, it's not possible to gain weight, for me to gain weight by eating more. It's not possible for anyone to gain weight by eating more. But I'm knowing it's not possible too, and just makes the whole game so much more fun. Now I have noticed that that 5 pounds have come on, and that feels really awesome. But it was like way after the fact of eating a bunch of food. It was just like, nah, I don't even know what it is. I mean, I know it's my mind making it, but I don't even have a thing to attribute it to pretend like that thing did it. Someone said, how did you do it, Hope? How did you gain 5 pounds? I'm like, I do not fucking know. Like, and not even speaking from like spiritual terms or anything like that. I actually can't attribute it to anything that I would be able to repeat in case I want to gain another 5 pounds, in case I think I want to gain another 5 pounds. But what did occur was I was still sitting there at 109 pounds or something like that. And what did occur to me is, you know what? Who fucking cares? Like the whole thing just dropped for me. All right, you know what? It's gonna be a freaking skinny, freaking broad. Doesn't matter. And the next thing I know, here comes some weight. So it's just fun. It's just fun to play with like that. It's like the illusion is messing around with me. It's messing around with all of us. Everyone is conspiring to wake us up. I know the sun is right in my face. It actually feels good today. It's getting to a different time of year where we're getting cooler and stuff. But there's just no reason for it. There's actually no reason for it. And when you're aware that there's no reason for it, there's no reason for anything, that's how you get to see that there can just be playfulness with all of it, and everything's working out in your favor anyways. I mean, for me, it's working out in my favor whether I gain the weight or not. It's always working out in my favor, and according to me, because I can have it that way. And since it's going in my favor, obviously I'm not projecting an ups, or maybe not so obviously, I'm not projecting an upset energy and resisting the things that I even seem to want. See, the illusion is made to serve us. It's made to serve us. When we're serving the only law, that's love, and we're using all of our experiences for healing, the illusion serves us. We don't have to go seeking for these things in the world or in the mind. Okay, they automatically, they unfold within them, within us. They just naturally unfold. All we have to be doing is watching what we're making of things, and the more we relax, the more we see that we're just being moved. And when we see that we're being moved, we relax even more and allow everything to just unfold for us perfectly. And we're worthy of that. We're completely worthy of that. And the only thing that tells us that we're unworthy of it is a thought that says, that's not how you do it. You have to actually go out and do things in the world. That's the unworthy thought. There is no world to do anything in. Keep that in mind. You know, eventually, I don't know how long from now, everyone's going to go, holy shit, this is true. Holy shit, this is true. What have we been missing? We've been working so hard to try to make everything work out for us when we could have just been relaxing the whole time. And you know, the thing is, that's what's going to remove this tyrannical system that seems to have been erected in our world, is thinking that we need these tyrannical thoughts one by one. And you know, it ripples outward too. It can't help it, because we're of one mind. So anyone that seems to be separate from the mind, make sure you allow your mind to join with them. Basically, you're forgiving them for whatever you made of them. That's how your mind joins with them. And then there's gratitude for them for showing you that thing that you needed to see. Okay, that's really important. That's why I talk about it all the time. The choices that you seem to have to make in the world, they are not important. I actually do not care about the seeming importance between your two choices that you have to make in the world. It's totally meaningless and irrelevant to me. I like to listen to them because, you know, maybe they both sound exciting. Like my friend Yulia, you know, we had a phone call a couple or week or something. And you know, she was telling me the details about these two choices, and you know, I was interested in listening to them because they're both interesting and exciting. I don't think there's any dilemma between the two. There's absolutely no dilemma. There's no reason why it should be taken as like it's an important choice. You know, whatever choice it is that's made is going to be very different, but that doesn't make it important at all. Whatever choice is made, that's the right one. That's what you need to know. Whatever choice is made, that's the right one for you, because that's the container. It's the means for healing the confusion in your mind. All right. Yes, everyone. So thank you for joining Wisdom Dialogues. If you're looking for the video of my speech that I did at the Freedom Rally, I believe you can find that on my Facebook wall, because someone else posted it and they tagged me in it. Let's see. Yeah, it's the second one down from my Facebook wall. I don't think very many people have even seen the fucka, but yeah, if you want to look at it, that's where it is. Check it out. I'll be back for Wisdom Dialogues online next Monday. I don't have any plans to take any Mondays or Fridays off. On Fridays, I'm in person at Hawaiian Sanctuary in Pahoa from 3 to 5. Those get recorded. They don't go up on YouTube. Not yet. Someone's making videos, but I don't know what their deal is, like when they're going to do it or whatever. But I record everyone. Well, just about everyone. Sometimes my phone's dead. I record most of them, and they end up going on Spotify, Pandora, any kind of podcast station, Apple Podcasts, even Amazon, even Google. They even picked me up now. First, they weren't doing it. iHeartRadio, all those little ones. Those ones from Fridays are available there. And these ones that we're doing now, these ones wind up on YouTube. If anyone has a good video of me from the speech on Saturday, please send it to me. Probably going to put that on my YouTube channel. I don't know, maybe share it to my page or something like that. Also, hopejohnson.org. Some of my friends like to use hopejohnson.org, because if you go to the Wisdom Dialogues tab, you'll get the videos and the recent audios right there, and you can link from right there. That might be easier for my friends who aren't so technological. Just go to hopejohnson.org, Wisdom Dialogues tab. Also, there's a donate tab on my website, hopejohnson.org. Please feel free to donate to me. I do pay for doing Wisdom Dialogues. I pay Zoom. It's not super expensive. It's like in the 50 something per month. And then I also pay Buzzsprout another like 50 something per month. Anything that you're willing to donate goes toward that kind of thing. And of course, you know, if you guys start donating more and I get more than what that is, I'm just going to see how to use it for Wisdom Dialogues. I love to do it. I love to share it. I know this is a really important message in this time, because people are being stretched. People are being stretched to as much as they can take. Like as much suffering as they can take right now. They're being stretched out like that. And when that occurs, I know the mind becomes more willing and open for wisdom and new things, learning what the mind's been missing as it's just been going along with regular everyday life. You know, that life that everyone wants to get back right now, that really was purgatory in the first place for most people. You know, there's whatever people are thinking they want to go back to, it's junk. It's junk in the first place. And you know, I don't know. The carrot keeps on being pulled out further. It's like 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot. When will it be back to normal? When will it go back to normal? I love it. Let it keep on going on like this, because it keeps on allowing more people to pop. They're like popping. They're like going, okay, I'm ready for a deeper truth. I'm ready for a deeper wisdom. The longer this bullshit story keeps on going on, the more people are doing that. And, you know, that's why we haven't had the illusion that we've been saved yet. We're just, we just keep on waiting for that hero. And we're going to realize that hero really is I mean, for me, I would say it's my inner teacher, because my inner teacher is, and there's no one separate from me anyways. And my inner teacher has a perspective that knows the stupid bullshit that crosses my mind, and also knows who I am. So if I'm willing to listen to my inner teacher, everything's going to go perfect. I don't have to be concerned about it at all. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate you so much. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho. Yay.